Hello Libra, welcome to April. Also welcome to Barbados, spending the month here. So thank you guys so much for your patience. Let's see what comes out here. Okay, well, we got two cards. The Nine of Cups and the Eight of Cups. First of all, hopefully Libra, you're feeling really good. I actually really like Aries season for Libra. 7th house activity, but it's also your natural house, you know? And while the sun may be doing some oppositions, Chiron may be doing some oppositions depending on where your major planets are located, I think all in all, there's a brightness to Libra right now. And it's not necessarily a very loud brightness, but rather one that is, it's very subtle. And it might be one of those things where like people can't quite put their finger on what it is about you. Like, what is it about Libra? Why are they this way? Like, there's just a vibe going on. I think that's the Nine of Cups, right? There's just a vibe going on. And it's because I know how hard you've worked to release a lot of things. And I think you're hanging out in this sort of intermediary space right now. You know, we're kind of halfway point, approximately, between the January eclipses and the July eclipses, right? The Capricorn-Cancer axis. So we're kind of like in the middle there, ready to, you know, ready for that next wave of purging to really happen. And so it's almost as though we are at this critical mass, but like a relaxed critical mass. Does that make sense? Like, we're kind of in the depths of the valley here. And there's peace, but also anticipation for what's coming next. There's readiness for what's around the corner, and I think you feel that that corner is like right there. Like, you know, when you're traveling and you get lost in a city and like your instinct is just like, just go like one more block, just go one more block. Like, you know, it's up there, it's right there. And I feel like that's what this Eight of Cups is really representing. And it could be a turn that completely revolutionizes the course of your life. It's subtle, it's quiet. And with this light that you have shining from within, it's, you know, it's exactly what needs to happen. It's exactly what needs to be. The sun came across Chiron earlier in Aries season, right? It's well past that now, but I think that was a really important thing for Libra because of the opposition. Healing the wounding of the ego, healing the insecurities, and really stepping into a self-confidence that is beyond what it's ever been. Yes, Aries has Chiron, but you guys with the opposition, like, you are going to have major opportunities over the next decade to feel more and more complete and feel more and more at balance. See the Tower. What did I tell you? It's the corner is right there. You're walking straight into it. Without question, you're walking straight into the changes. And it's not even scary. Like, it's like a bring it on kind of vibe. Bring it on, universe. Like, there's no fear whatsoever. And it is that fearlessness and that courage the universe really loves. Because that fearlessness and that courage is like, and I think I said this a few months back, maybe not to you, Libra, but it's like you standing up on the mountaintop and being like, okay, universe, you ready to play a game? And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you? And you're like, yeah, I'm ready. And it's competition with yourself only. Competition within yourself, meaning living your best life, meaning showing up for life itself, being entirely present, which in turn translates and carries over into absolutely every area of your life. And as you have been releasing emotional attachments and anything negative, and it's been this whole process, you know, like especially with the Chiron retrograde, it's like, okay, moving forward, but then having that one last opportunity all through the end of 2018 to really shed everything. And any stagnation that you are experiencing, hopefully completely out of your system See, even a card of Aries, which I love for Libra because it's like one of my favorite pairings, if I'm going to be honest with you. You know, she's forthright. She is also a cardinal energy. She's powerful, motivated, energized, but she's also sitting down. You know, she doesn't just act purposelessly. Is that a word? Without purpose. She doesn't just act. She's going to mean it. You know, when she does something, when she says something, she's going to mean it. And when you have that strength behind your intentions, the universe is like, great, awesome, now I know, you know, because we so often find ourselves mixed signals, like one day, yes, I really want this, and the other day, no, well, maybe I don't deserve it, you know. And so it's that dialogue, and Libra is notorious for the back and forth dialogue that goes on up here. But when a Libra finds that balance and finds that alignment, it is probably one of the most powerful things, because that is your vibe, that is your thing. Balance, alignment. So when you click into it, when you accept it, and when you say, okay, this is the direction, it's literally like parting the Red Sea. And maybe that's even what this Tower card truly represents, is a parting of the Red Sea. There are no obstacles in front of you. This Tower is not an obstacle. It is a clear channel. Through your energy, you have already destroyed your obstacles. Obstacles and problems, they're just merely functions and figments of imagination. They're not real. Life is not problematic unless you make it that way. And Libra, I think you're really getting a handle on it, because she has a handle on it. You know, I'm not just saying that just to kind of like sugarcoat and be nice, but I mean, this is a Queen of Wands thing. Like, life is not problematic for a Queen of Wands. She's a bulldozer. She just plows through stuff. It's Aries, guys. Aries is like the most clumsy energy of the zodiac, right? Like, you guys know, it's just full force. I can say that because all my best friends are Aries, and mom's got an Aries moon, you know, and it's just like, it's really aggressive. But in some ways, sometimes we tap into that within ourselves, right? Because we all have all the signs in our chart. So when the sun comes into our natural house, you know, we kind of tap into the ruler of that house. And for you guys, it's Aries. So here you go. What else? I know that there's still stuff. You know, with the Tower, there always is. Again, some of you may be finding yourself more in the state of mourning the habits, because you've identified with certain habits for such a long time that without those particular habits, without continuously bringing your mind back to something, without your heart being back with someone or whatever, it's really hard to move on. But not because you don't want to, but because that behavior and that mental state is so familiar. This is what they talk about this is what they mean when they talk about changing your DNA, right? When they talk about changing your biochemical makeup, when they talk about changing your timeline or whatever. Really, it's all like very convoluted language for just changing your state of being. And obviously, the Nine of Swords has been weighing on you for a very long time. And I have a feeling that someone surfaced recently. Maybe not surfaced. Mercury retrograde may have done that, you know? And I don't like the vibe here, if I'm being honest. I don't see this as being a particularly amazing pairing. Now, this is a card of Gemini. When I say Gemini, I don't mean necessarily that you are dealing with a Gemini, but an energy that is unpredictable, all over the place, left, right, up, down, forwards, backwards, and not a lot of consistency. And in the past, it has been proven, you know, difficult to believe them. This is someone that has their blinders on, and when they have a goal in front of them, they go for it. But the minute that something shiny catches their eye, they can very easily redirect. It is not a good match for a queen or a king, actually. I have a hard time with the pairings of the king and queen with the knights whenever those kinds of energies come out. because it's just an emotional maturity level. And Queen of Wands being such a beautiful combination of masculine, right, fire, wand, and feminine being a queen. She's balanced. But here you have a hyper masculine kind of thing, someone who likes to hunt, someone who likes to go out and get stuff, someone that is not necessarily open to the intuitive or the emotional, right? They're all up here, Gemini, intellect. Of course, they're capable, everybody is. Like I said before, we all have all the signs in our chart, but they operate more with this, whereas she operates more with this. And the heart is so beautiful because this is really like when people understand how to lead with the heart, it means they're coming closer to learning how to lead from a non-dualistic space. Non-duality, which is kind of the goal of meditation, right? Transcending the polarity of this third dimensional experience. And she's a lot closer to understanding what that really means than this person. So, and I think maybe, I don't know, maybe for the first time, Libra, you see this person's true colors. And the illusion of who and what they are, who and what they were, comes crashing down. As the Mars moves into Gemini, as Mars moves into Gemini for the rest of this Aries season and moving into Taurus season, I think you're going to have an amazing opportunity to keep yourself busy and preoccupied and actually not spend a lot of time in this kind of space. I suspect, Libra, that you have come to an acceptance of someone else's human experience that is not in alignment with yours. And yes, that's sadness. More disappointment than sadness, I think. I'm feeling so like, well, like I think this is the Mercury and Neptune thing going on for me right now, but if I can like take it higher level, you guys are learning what it means to think about your life and your existence on the infinite scale, right? Aries, the infinite scale, the constant state of beingness that exists within all entities in this universe. So there's kind of an understanding that when something dies, it never really dies. There is no such thing as birth. There is no such thing as death. There is only existence itself. And just because this experience has died or has faded away or has left you feeling whatever it is you're feeling and left you thinking whatever you're feeling, I think there's also this internal knowing that if it doesn't get rectified in this particular lifetime, you will have millions ahead of you and there really is no pressure. And so that's why the sitting down energy, whereas someone here is trying very, very hard to make something happen, you know, trying very hard to force things into this very short, what a 80-year lifespan, you know, and from 70 to 100-year lifespan if you're lucky, right? Trying to fit everything in, and here you are taking this more mature, like, why rush? Why do I need to cram it all into this life? Because I know that this life isn't it, and there's more. And there's more. So much more. Sad, yes. Disappointed, yeah. But it's not this overwhelming weight on your shoulders. And if it is feeling like a weight on your shoulders, if it's making you sick, you're losing sleep, you know, you're allowing something to affect you, and you're allowing something to steal your light away, which you so clearly have. These are so completely opposite, I can't even begin to tell you. This is the essence of the Libra dualism, right? But weirdly, they balance each other out. You have the exact same amount on either side of point zero. You have a 9 of swords and you have a 9 of cups. A 9 of masculine and a 9 of feminine, right? A 9 of air and a 9 of water. So you have this Dualism, it's like having a negative 10 and a positive 10. When you put them together, what you have is 0. That's what it is, a 0 point. And it's neither here nor there, it just is. We'll clarify these, lots to clarify for sure, and we're not even done pulling the block of 9 yet. Well, we got 4 more, so we'll take all 4. Another card of Gemini, the Lover's card, and the Libra card, the Empress. So here we go. Even here, like, if I lay them out in the order that I saw them, even here, she's got her back turned. And what's interesting about the Empress is she's still present. So while you may see a corner ready to be crossed in front of you or turned, it's really like a 90-degree angle for you, Libra. And I talked about this actually on my Instagram post today. I was like, it's a 90-degree angle turn for me personally. And so I'm kind of stealing that kind of concept for you because I feel like that's what this is. And it's not a 180, you're not going backwards. No, it's a completely new direction. So you're not going up to San Francisco anymore, right? You're going to New York. So, I mean, it's totally, sorry, I was thinking LA, whatever. It's just like a totally different path. Totally different destination. And there is the acceptance of whatever that destination is. So you're not pushing anyone out. You're actually letting them decide for themselves. It's like whatever you want to do. You want to stay, great. You want to go, great. But I'm not going to sit here and fight for you. I have my own life to fight for. I have my own destiny to fight for. My own time, my own, like, this is my life. And I think there's a seriousness. There's a very serious, somber tone to that. Like, this is my life. And maybe for the first time in a long time, although I think you've been going through this for a while, but for the first time, you're like, I'm not going to rush, I'm not going to push, I'm not going to force, I'm not going to try, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to say that to make you happy, I'm not going to lie because then I'd be giving up my personal power. Like, let's be honest, let's put it all out there. If this person doesn't like it, fine, you know, and it's just, and maybe even Libra, you're taking on a little bit of kind of an asshole vibe, which is amazing because you're so nice usually. If you're like a positively manifested Libra, you're so nice and you do like to appease others. So when you kind of take that away for the sake of internal balance, yes, there may be some kind of aftershock a little bit from the balance being taken away from other people, you know, when you're using them to balance you out. So they might be in a little bit of turbulent, like, what the heck is Libra doing? Like, why aren't they behaving in the way they've always behaved before? But they'll adjust quickly, as will you. And because of that, new things come. This is always, an ace is always on the docket when we experience a tower moment. It's always on the docket when we have changes, right? There's always new things because it's that vacuum. You start taking things away and something has to fill in. So like obviously you're going to get certain things. Yes, there's a money component here. Yes, there's a time and energy component here. It is the physicality of this world, which is more time and space, I think. So there's peace. Interesting though that we're getting 2 Gemini cards. So you may be dealing with a Gemini, maybe a Scorpio, maybe a Taurus, or none of the above, it's fine. Lovers can be, yes, lovers with another person, sure, but more I think it's the love of self, to be honest. And tapping into the higher intelligence, truly. Tapping into the high, not even the higher self, it's bigger than that. And the Lovers sort of trumps the 5 of Swords. Clearly there is a psychological pattern going on. Clearly there is something that just, you're just not vibing with, you know, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. When you stop vibing with something, you stop vibing with something. Like you grow, you grow. What can anyone do about that, you know? So let me put the camera down. Give me a second. It's going to be a little shaky and weird. It's not my traditional setup. Sorry. See if I can even do this here. Lighting is not so great. Oh my God, let's see. Maybe I should stop my camera. Let's see if I can actually make this happen. Okay, hopefully that's not going to tip over. Let me turn it over. Ugh, come on. So yeah, so this is what we've got. And this is probably how the comprehensives are going to look too, so hopefully I'm not making you guys sick with this. Okay. And I brought a different, my golden universal tarot for this, sort of one or two more cards before we start pulling the clarifiers. Another Nine of Swords. Weirdly, I'm not getting so much an Eight of Swords. Why am I not getting that this is really that bad? I think what's happening is that you are stepping into an awareness of this stuff. This has been a part of your life for a very long time, Libra. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here twice, especially. Five of Swords, Nine of Swords, like this is intense stuff, you know? But there's a cool calm and collectedness with the Queen and the Empress here. So yeah, it's here, but it truly is you watching the stuff. You're watching your thoughts. You're watching yourself become liberated, and in so doing, watching yourself and learning what's really trapping you. And maybe for the first time, Libra, you are being like ridiculously honest with yourself. And that's always, you know, kind of one of the hardest parts. I was reading the Russell Brand book, Recovery. I don't know if you guys know who Russell Brand is. He's like a comedian, actor, but he had, you know, a really challenging life in terms of addiction. So sex addiction, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, like you name it, he had it. And he went through a recovery process, and he wrote a book about it, which is like the 12-step program, right? Alcoholics Anonymous and all that. And one of the first steps is honesty with yourself, like truly admitting to yourself what's wrong. So these energies can very easily become addictive. These thought patterns, psychological, what have yous, yes, they can easily become addictive, but they stop becoming addictive the minute you start identifying what these things are. And clearly there's a disruptive personality here. Sorry, I just happened to see the bottom of the deck, which was also a Knight of Wands. So when we have a Sagittarius energy and a Gemini energy, these are usually, you know, very difficult. I mean, they're beautiful signs, don't get me wrong. I love Sagittarius, I love Geminis. But when they're problematic in someone's life, or when those archetypes are problematic, it feels like we are hanging on to a fistful of water, because they are very slippery people. Or slippery energies, right? It could also be a business thing. It could also be a client. It could also be something with children, or not being able to conceive, or something like that. It's like it's right there in front of you. You have it. It's there. You're ready to go. And then for whatever reason, it just doesn't click on. It just doesn't continue. And you can't seem to grasp it. Okay? And yet there's something more for you in store. And so it's like, Libra, what really, like, why really is it that you're wanting to hang on to this thing? Why? What is it really? So there's the honesty. Okay? Now let's look at this Tower card. Okay? Trust your gut. Here's the heaviness. I knew there was a component of heaviness. I mean, I said the words even. Let's look at the Eight of Cups. I'm not going to look at the Nine, because I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Knight of Wands. I knew you were leaving someone. You're leaving something that maybe you never even had. Leaving an idea of something that never took hold. Beautiful. And a King of Wands. I think what you were doing, Libra, was You are basing things on someone's potential. Yeah, they might be a king, but they're masquerading around like a knight. Okay? Choice is theirs, you know. They can masquerade around like a knight all they want. Can't judge their choices, you know. Queen of Wands, beautiful, so powerful, so ready. Like such a readiness with you guys. The problem is how much you care, yeah? I know you want that person to see it the way you see it. But that is a delusion. 100%. Another card of Aries, I think that's you. As steadfast as they are, being what they are, and the situation being what the situation is, you are going to be as steadfast about that Eight of Cups. So you have two situations hitting a T-square right at the road, hitting at a perpendicular angle. You either go left or right. You either go north or south. Another knight coming out, clarifying a knight and a page. This situation or this person does seem to have a very substantial presence in your life. I don't necessarily see them going anywhere, and I don't necessarily see them changing. And I think it's just kind of like, let's put a pin in it for now. Another Nine of Swords. Wow, 3 Nine of Swords. 5 of Swords reversed. Ace of Wands, beautiful. Let's look at the Lovers. Interesting. Page of Swords, another Gemini card. Wow, so much Gemini. Another Taurus. Sorry, I know you guys can't see it. In the comprehensive, I will adjust a little bit, move the computer over and all that. Clarifying the 5 of Swords. Okay, interesting. Queen of Cups. I think it's the emotional component here, Libra, that's really keeping you, it's really keeping you connected. For the 8 of Swords, 10 of Coins, 7 of Cups. Why trying so hard? Okay, for the 9 of Swords. Why trying so hard to identify feelings? Still trying to figure out, oh, and here's the beautiful Libra card coming out, steadfast, beautiful. Why trying so hard to force yourself to be feeling a certain thing? You're still processing, it seems like, right? You're still processing, like, I don't even know how to identify my emotion. I don't even know how to identify my feeling. And there might be a little bit too much pressure that you're putting on yourself to figure out how you feel about something or someone. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't owe that to anyone. You also don't even necessarily owe that to yourself, because the minute that you start identifying and saying, I feel this way about it, is the minute that you kind of put your own self in a box, 8 of Swords. And you can feel conflicting things, and maybe that's the balance, right? The 8 of Cups and the 9 of Swords. You can feel both. Sometimes we feel like we have to be in that camp, right? One way or the other. And just because you might be merging or going off in opposite directions with someone doesn't mean you have to do that with yourself. That's why I'm like, the Libra balance, it might be causing turbulence for other people, but as long as you are centered, that is the only thing that matters. Okay, so that's probably what we're going to start off with the comprehensive. So if you want to join me there, of course, you're more than welcome. If not, then I will see you next month. Thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of Aries season, and I'll see you for Taurus. Bye-bye.